Hello everyone and welcome to the online version of the Principles of Organic Crop Production. This is a class that is offered during the fall and spring quarters, face-to-face, and this is offered through the Department of Horticulture and Crop Science at Cal Poly. My name is Ashraf Tubeli, and I'll give you a little bit of background about myself in the next couple of slides. So I grew up in Palestine on the eastern shore of the Mediterranean, and that's where I obtained my first degree in plant production and protection. After that, I decided to pursue my higher education, so I went to France and obtained a master's and PhD in agronomy from the Université de Lorraine in Nancy, France. And then I was offered a postdoctoral position with the International Center for Agricultural Research in the dry areas. So I worked with them for a few years on soil and water management for fruit trees like olive trees and almond trees. And then I worked for the University of Guelph as like in a research and teaching position. And the University of Guelph is located in Western Ontario, south, like between Toronto and Detroit. And I stayed with them until 2015, and that's when I joined Cal Poly. So since joining Cal Poly, I've taught 3 different classes on crop production, organic crop production. Also, I teach a class on crop physiology. I teach a senior project class and several other random classes like seed production and general plant science and so forth. I have produced over 50 publications, including over 25 journal papers, book chapters, also a book, and some extension flyers as well. I have worked on so many different crops, like from field crops, things like corn, soybeans, wheat, barley, oats, and also I worked on biomass crops that can be used for energy, um, things like switchgrass and miscanthus. I've worked on fruit trees, olives, and almonds. And since joining Cal Poly, I've been working on vegetables, tomatoes, lettuce. Also, more recently, we've been working on strawberries. And my career took me to several different countries across 4 continents. So now down to business. What is this class all about? So briefly, as a student, you'll be understanding, recognizing what is organic, what's a definition for an organic production system, organic farming, and when you see the label on a product, what does that mean? And you'll probably be able to appreciate and understand why organic prices are generally higher than conventional counterparts, and you'll be able to know what's okay to be used in organic systems and what's not allowed to be used, and you'll learn how to grow your own organic crops. You'll know how to protect your organic crops, and you should understand differences between organic and conventional from several aspects, yield-wise, environment-wise, a little bit maybe of health-wise as well. All materials for this class will be posted on Canvas, and that starts with the slideshows. So these will be posted the Friday before the week that we're talking about the topic, and then we will have Zoom meetings to discuss the material, so like a virtual lecture by Zoom on Mondays and Wednesdays, and Fridays will be reserved for now for quizzes and for also like Zoom one-on-one or Zoom group meetings. I'll be talking about that also later on. And then every student is responsible for knowing what's on the slides, plus also what I mention during my Zoom lecture, because I might be mentioning like more details, given more examples, things that are not necessarily on the slide that students will need to be aware of for a test or an evaluation. So talking about tests, these will be all multiple choice, including the final exam as well. And usually they'll be like in general things that I might highlight during the talks, and those might be on the tests. And then everything on assignments is posted on Canvas. More details will be following for the term project. So in terms of communication and feedback, I want this to be a two-way highway rather than just me talking and delivering and just talking to the screen. So I would want to hear from you guys and to know how I'm doing with things, or to know if you have any questions, or if you need any clarifications on anything. Announcements will be sent by email and posted on Canvas as well, so you'll receive an email for these announcements once they're posted on Canvas. So that should keep you in touch of what's going on. And then you can also use the discussion forum. I'll be also using the discussion forum for certain things, and I'll come back also to the discussion forum on the next slide. You can email me for any questions, specific questions or concerns or feedback, and here's my email address. And I have virtual office hours, so you can contact me for like by email, and then we'll be fixing maybe a time. Most likely maybe it will happen on Fridays during class time. We can have a one-on-one meeting, or if there's a group of students interested maybe in the same topic or talking about an assignment or something, then we can do a group meeting, sorry. So as I mentioned before, the discussion forum is very important to me as a two-way street, so that I know how we're doing, how we're progressing, if there's anything that needs clarification, and so forth. And this is worth 5% of the total grade, so it's worth your time. And we're gonna have weekly threads, so every week we're discussing a topic, and we're gonna have a discussion thread for that specific topic, and every student should be posting well, if they want the points for that specific discussion. And so you guys can post questions, maybe things that we didn't cover in details, or things that were confusing, or things that you feel are worth maybe mentioning. And then students can also post questions to post answers to these questions from other students. I really encourage student-to-student feedback and so forth. And also students can share, like if you come across a cool idea and you think this is really good for the class to know about, and it's relevant maybe for what we're discussing that specific week, then I'd love also to see those ideas shared on the discussion forum. As for the learning objectives for this class, the successful student upon completion of this course should be able to describe the National Organic Program and explain differences between conventional and certified organic systems. And then they should be able to design an environmentally sustainable crop production system that complies with national organic regulations. And they should be able to apply organic pest and weed management principles to ensure good and healthy crops. So here are the different items that we'll be considering for the class evaluation. Starting with quizzes, we will have 4 quizzes, and they will be worth 80 points, so 20 points each. And then we will have 2 assignments, and they'll be 20 points each as well. Your participation in the discussion is going to be worth 20 points. And then we will have for the activities like the virtual lab activities, these will be worth 60 points. And the term project will be worth 60 points. And then the midterm test is going to be worth another 60 points, and the final exam will be worth 80 points. And we will come back to each of those down the road. So here we have the tentative weekly schedule of topics. So we have 9 weeks in this quarter, and we'll be starting with what is organic farming, what does it entail, and we'll talk about market share for organic products in general. We'll see numbers in terms of acreage and numbers in terms of sales for different commodities. Also, we'll be talking about the consumers who buys organic and so forth. We'll be talking about movements that are similar to the organic movement, so ecological agricultural movements. And then in week 2, we'll be talking about the history of organic farming, how it all started, and some of the pioneer names and the champions of the organic movement, and also of the similar movements that have contributed to the organic industry as we know it today. And then we'll be talking about the National Organic Program. So this is the legislation. So this is the USDA legislation that sets the rules and tells us what's okay, what's not okay to be used in organic systems. And also, like a nice continuation to that talk will be to talk about the transition. So transitioning into organic, getting the certification, and being audited for the certification to be renewed and so forth. In week 4, we'll be talking about crops, crop management. How do we start a crop enterprise? And then we'll be talking about crop rotation, characteristics of a good crop rotation, how do we choose crops, and how do we choose crop rotations and so forth. And we'll be talking also a little bit about cover crops and their role in the in an organic farm. In week 5, we'll be talking about soil management. We'll be talking about maybe conventional versus organic soils and how they compare. We'll also be talking about nutrients, and that would also lead us to plant nutrition and what plants need to grow and how they get that in an organic system. We'll be talking about compost. So many of you have heard this word before. We'll be talking about the composting process. We'll be talking about compost characteristics, good versus not so good composts, and so forth. We'll also be talking about weed management from an organic perspective, insect management, and we'll be talking about disease control and soil-borne pathogens. And in the last week, we'll be talking about organic versus conventional from yield, environment, maybe nutrition and health standpoints as well. And then we'll be wrapping up in that week. This is a screenshot of the class page on Canvas, and you can see, so we're on the home page here, and you can see the different units. So this is the, like on top you have the welcome class intro unit, and also it has some links to Canvas support where you can watch videos to help you with different things in Canvas, also how to do your assignments, upload assignments, and so forth. And then you have a few things that are due in week 1, and then after that we have also unit 1 and some other units as well, and these are going to be populated as we go in this class. And then so going back to the tabs on the left hand side, we have the announcements and assignments, discussions, grades, and so forth. And if you keep going down, you'll find there is one tab for quizzes. So you can click on that, and that's going to give you the quizzes and tests for this class. But these also you can get them through the assignments tab, as we will see on the next slide. So this is a cropped page of the Canvas website for this class, and if you click on the assignments tab on the top or near the top, you'll see that it opens up the tests. So all the tests that we have, quizzes, midterm, and final, and with their dates, and gives you the exact date at which those open. And also we have, like below, we have the assignments as well, and starting with the icebreaker discussion assignment, which is due in week 1. And then we'll have so only this one is showing up right now, but I'll be adding weekly discussion assignments, and all of these will be graded, and each will be worth 2 points. And then we have the composting exercise and insect management assignment, and finally there's going to be the term project that we talked about earlier on. So this class has no textbook, but instead I have posted a few documents for your information and for your reading. So these will give you a lot of background and a lot of details on some of the major things, the pillars of the organic system. So there's one document here about pest management. There's another one about the history of organic movement, another one on soils and building better soil health and cover crops, and this one is about the biodynamic system, and here the last document is about transitioning to organic production and some of the things that you need to take into account when you are transitioning into organic. Finally, I'd like to draw your attention to a website that I use all the time, and it covers a very wide area of topics, including aquaculture, mushroom production, compost, organic farming, livestock production, and so forth. It's called, the website is called ATRA, and somehow this is an acronym for the National Sustainable Agriculture Information Service. And I posted also the link to that website. And once you click on the organic farming area, you'll get like this page here, and here you can see like they cover like almost all aspects of organic production. So like from the commodities, if you wish, to the marketing, to pest management, to seeds, and so forth. So this is a very good website that also has some videos as well if you're interested, and I really recommend that you go there and browse through this website. So that's it for today. And if you have any questions, and maybe by now you have figured out that I have an accent, so if there's anything that you didn't understand, or if you want to know more about, or if you'd like to get some clarifications, etc., so please shoot me an email or post in the discussion forum, and I'll be happy to reply as soon as possible. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next talk, which is going to be an introduction to organic farming. Stay safe, everyone. Take care.